As I mentioned previously, one of the main drivers behind this research and the development of these two FP natural powders was the introduction of polymer currency, polymer banknotes within the UK. And of course, other countries around the world have been using polymer banknotes for a number of years now. But it was something new to the UK and a substrate which is inherently difficult to obtain good quality latent finger marks from. The reason for this is when you actually look at the banknotes themselves, in the visible part of the spectrum, they have an abundance of security features and complex background patterns, which actually detract from the clarity of the fingerprint ridge flow that may be developed on their surface.
The new plastic fiver has just gone into circulation, and already innovative ways of catching criminals who come into contact with the plastic notes are under development. A forensic equipment firm in Midlands has created new technology that can pull fingerprints from the notes. Here's Joan Cummins.
400 million new polymer £5 notes have been printed by the Bank of England. They're cleaner, stronger and harder to counterfeit. But does their durability make them harder to forensically examine?
Joan, this is one of the new £5 notes from the Bank of England.
It's really nice. I better give it back before I'm accused.
Yeah, please, that would be great.
Roberto King has been experimenting with a secret stash of polymer fivers for 18 months. He's a scientist who develops forensic equipment.
The way that the technology really works is that we can then shine a high intensity light onto the surface. So we use an infrared light and that then illuminates the powder and causes it to fluoresce or glow in the infrared part of the spectrum.
More than 20 countries across the world already use plastic notes and have developed their own systems. But the Evesham firm think they're the first in the world to use infrared in fingerprint analysis.
Fingerprint technology is limited at the moment really to the visible part of the spectrum, and this really gives it another angle, and found it really surprising how well it works.
The firm won't say who their customers are, but admit that 90% of their equipment is sold overseas. Already the technology is being considered for the intelligence industry. Because science is always evolving, this latest technology used for fingerprinting could also be used by covert operations, because basically it's invisible to the naked eye. Joan Cummins, BBC Midlands Today, Evesham.
The use of near-infrared fluorescence and the FP natural powders isn't purely limited to patterned or inherently fluorescent backgrounds and surfaces. They also have great benefits on being used on materials which are highly reflective or polished in appearance. When we look at these types of surfaces, we often encounter reflections in the visible part of the spectrum, and to some extent we can use cross-polarization to reduce these reflections, but in many instances, and certainly the instance shown on the screen here, it's almost impossible to remove these reflections from the image in the visible part of the spectrum. However, when we look at things in the infrared part of the electromagnetic spectrum, these reflections disappear. So here we see a latent finger mark treated with FP Natural 2, illuminated at 780 nanometers, and the fluorescence from 850 nanometers onwards, and we can see that reflection which was running across the image has disappeared, and all we see is a high quality latent finger mark.